eternal, flawless. You may think he's late, but he's actually right on schedule. You may think the delay is punishment, but it's protection. God is not holding something back to hurt you. He's holding it back to bless you at the right moment. When the right time comes, not a second early, not a minute late, everything will align. The doors, the people, the opportunities, all falling into place like pieces of a divine puzzle. You will look back and realize that if God had answered you sooner, you would have settled for less. If He had opened that door before you were ready, you would have lost what He wanted to give you. Many of you are standing in a season of waiting. You've been faithful. You've done everything right, but nothing seems to change. You're tempted to question if God even hears you. You're wondering if maybe you missed His voice, or if perhaps you've been forgotten. But I tell you the truth, God never forgets. God never misplaces His children. He knows your name. He knows your pain. And He knows the exact second when your breakthrough must come. You may not see it yet, but your waiting has purpose. Every tear you've cried is watering the soil for your next blessing. Every disappointment you've endured is shaping you for divine promotion. Every delay has been the hand of God positioning you for something so glorious that when it happens, you will cry not because it hurts, but because you will be overwhelmed by the goodness of God. Think about it. Every great move of God in history began with waiting. Noah waited for the rain. Abraham waited for the promise. Joseph waited in the pit. And every one of them probably felt what you feel right now. Forgotten, overlooked, weary. But when God's timing arrived, it turned their entire story around. Noah saw the floodgates of heaven open. Abraham saw a son in his old age. Joseph saw the prison turn into a palace. What looked like delays were actually divine setups. The waiting was never wasted, and neither is yours. God is building something in your life that cannot be rushed. Some blessings are too sacred to be delivered quickly. They require time to strengthen your faith, to humble your heart, to purify your motives, and to align your spirit with the will of God. There are some prayers you prayed that God could have answered instantly, but He didn't, because He wanted to show you something greater. He wanted to show you that His blessings are not earned by desperation, but released through transformation. He is changing you while you wait. He is teaching you to trust when nothing makes sense, to believe when everything looks impossible, and to stand when you feel weak. You may not understand it now, but one day you will. One day you'll look back at this season and say, now I see why God made me wait. You'll say, if that door had opened, I would have been destroyed. If that relationship had worked, I would have lost myself. If that opportunity had come sooner, I would not have been ready. You will cry because you'll see how every delay, every heartbreak, and every detour was divine protection in disguise. Sometimes God slows you down because the path ahead is not clear yet. He can see what you cannot. He sees the traps, the wrong people, the unseen dangers that would have consumed you. So He keeps you still, not to punish you, but to protect you. You call it delay, God calls it deliverance. You call it silence, God calls it strategy. You call it waiting, God calls it preparation. And when His time arrives, everything you've been praying for will rush into your life so powerfully that you'll weep in disbelief. You'll realize that God didn't forget your prayers, He was perfecting them. Oh, how often we try to run ahead of God. We think we know what's best. We want control. We want the blessing now. You would fall to your knees and thank Him for every delay. You would thank Him for every unanswered prayer, for every closed door, for every not yet. Because behind those divine delays are miracles that require maturity. God cannot give you something that your character cannot sustain. He cannot release a blessing that would destroy you if received too soon. The waiting is His mercy. The delay is His love. I want to speak to those who feel like life has stopped moving. You've been doing everything you can, and yet you feel stuck. Let me tell you, you are not stuck, you are stationed. God has stationed you in a season of stillness so He can align everything around you. While you're waiting, God is working behind the scenes, touching hearts, rearranging circumstances, removing what doesn't belong, preparing what must come. You can't see it, but heaven is busy on your behalf. And when the curtain lifts and God's timing explodes into your reality, it will be so sudden, so overwhelming that you will cry out, God, I didn't see this coming. You will cry because the goodness of God will hit you like a wave, washing away the years of disappointment, erasing the nights of tears, and replacing sorrow with unspeakable joy. The reason God makes you wait is because He's building testimony through time. If everything came instantly, you'd never learn to value it. You'd never understand His ways. But when you've prayed for years, cried through nights, and stood firm through storms, and then God finally moves, you'll fall on your knees in gratitude. You'll say, God, You were there all along. That's when the tears come. Not the tears of pain, but of holy awe. The kind of tears that come when you realize you were never forgotten. The kind of tears that flow when you see how every struggle was leading you to this divine moment. You'll cry because the timing was so perfect that only God could have arranged it. Many people lose their faith in the waiting. They confuse delay with abandonment. But faith is not proven when everything happens instantly. Faith is proven in the silence, in the waiting, in the darkness. When you choose to trust God, even when nothing moves, that's real faith. And when you refuse to give up, when you keep believing despite the delay, you move the heart of God. There is something powerful about a believer who waits without complaining, who prays without demanding, who trusts without doubting. That kind of faith catches God's attention. That kind of patience invites heaven's intervention. You may be at your breaking point right now, thinking, I can't wait any longer. But I tell you, you're closer than you think. The moment right before a breakthrough often feels like the heaviest test. That's because the enemy knows you're almost there. He knows God's timing is near. So he fills your mind with doubt, your heart with fear, and your spirit with impatience. But don't let him trick you into giving up now. You've come too far to quit. You've endured too much to surrender. God's timing is about to collide with your faith. And when it does, you won't just receive what you prayed for. You'll receive more than you ever imagined. Do not measure God's love by how fast He answers. Measure it by how deeply He cares. He is not a God of instant gratification. He is a God of perfect manifestation, and His manifestations are worth the wait. When God finally releases that blessing, it will not just meet your need, it will exceed your expectations. It will silence your enemies. It will heal your heart. It will restore what you lost.